You ever have one of those days where you wake up thinking the world is as it should be, calm, predictable, safe on your own land, then, out of nowhere, you find out somebody's decided all that's over? Let me tell you, I used to believe my grandfather's farm was the last place nobody could touch. 100+ acres, nothing but sky and grass and sweat in the soil, until the day a shiny SUV rolled up to the east fence line and out steps this woman, looking like she runs the county, with a polite little smile you just know is hiding a whole lot of arrogance. The kind of smile folks use when they think you're about to roll over and do whatever they say, whether it makes sense or not. I'd spent half my life working that land, memorizing every inch, every buried stone, every creek that ran dry in July, and suddenly here's this lady, hands me a stack of fancy papers, and says I'm in violation of the rules for a homeowners association I'd never even heard of. Seriously, she expected me to just nod and say, "Yes, ma'am, whatever you say." But you know what happens when you try to steamroll somebody who's got receipts. Yeah, that happened. Turns out, when someone builds their case on forged paperwork, they've just handed you the rope to hang him with. That morning started out just like any other, golden light pouring across the open grass, birds doing their thing, breeze moving easy through the fence wire. I was fixing something near the barn when that same silver SUV pulled in again, tires crunching on gravel. She stepped out, heels tapping, leather portfolio under one arm, and right then, I knew nothing good was coming. It wasn't a neighborly visit. No, this was the kind of encounter where one person's decided the other's already lost. She called herself Karen Alder, president of the Riverbend Estates HOA, like I was supposed to be impressed. Didn't even flinch when I just nodded. No words. She slides a pile of documents through the gate, says I better review these, 'cause my land's now under HOA jurisdiction, and I'm facing a laundry list of violations. I thumbed through those papers, slick logos, official-sounding language, rules about lawn height, paint color, parking. The kicker, she pointed out my barn, said it didn't fit the approved color palette. Mind you, this barn stood for 40 years, can't even see it from a road. I asked her, which community is this? She tells me there's been rezoning. My land's now inside their boundaries. All us landowners got notified. Except, of course, I never got a single letter. Didn't faze her. She says records show I'm on the hook, starting now. I keep pushing. Where's the map? How does this make sense? She just taps her fancy packet, says everything I need's right there. But there wasn't a single survey, no map showing their so-called boundary, just pages of fees, threats, and rules about things that never mattered out here. So, I take her packet and head inside. My kitchen table turns into a war room, documents everywhere, me reading every line twice. Eventually, I pull out my grandfather's deed, right from the metal cabinet where it's lived for decades. Clear as day, section lines, distances, legal jargon, nothing in there about an HOA, not a word. Just my name, the land, and a history going back to '63. No easements, no restrictions, but the usual county stuff. Next door, all old family farms, folks I know. That subdivision she talked about, Riverbend Estates, a whole mile west, separated by a road and a drainage ditch. I'd driven by it 100 times, never gave it a thought. So I look up the HOA office, right inside that neat little subdivision. I figure I need to see who's behind the circus. I drive over, past all those identical houses, everything the same height, same trees, same mailbox. Felt like I'd entered a parallel universe where personality was illegal. The office is tiny, just a desk, some flyers, a woman named Rachel with a customer service smile. I ask for the map that proves my land's in their zone. She hesitates, digs through a cabinet, hands me a color printout, shaded area stretches out, swallows my property like a kid drawing with a crayon. I snap a photo before she can object and leave. Sitting in my truck, I stare at the map, no logic to it, no connection to real property lines. It's just a greedy reach, a circle expanding for no reason except to grab more land. I spend the next couple days obsessed, comparing my deed to their map, piecing together the puzzle. Sure enough, Karen comes back, folder even thicker. She's not smiling now. She tries to overwhelm me with more violations, barn, fence, driveway, even a stack of firewood behind the barn. Says I've got 30 days to fix it or fork over $1,200 in fines, going up every week I delay. I ask her, you serious? She doesn't blink. Says I can request a hearing at the next HOA board meeting, Thursday at 7. Fine, I say, I'll be there. But before that meeting, I make a call to the county clerk, give them the plat number from Karen's map. Takes a while, but finally they come back. No record, no boundary extension, nothing on file. County's got nothing. Not a zip about my land joining any HOA. Now, I'm really starting to see the picture. These folks think nobody will check, that everyone will just take their word for it. Thursday night, I show up at the meeting, folder packed with documents. Karen runs the show with a tight grip, calling out addresses, pushing through the agenda. When it's time for questions, I stand and ask straight up, what legal basis does the HOA have to enforce rules on my property, which was never part of the subdivision? Room gets quiet. Karen claims it's all county approved, all on record. I tell her the county says otherwise. You could feel the temperature in the room drop. People shifting, whispering. Nolan, the guy next to me, turns out he's a land surveyor, says he's seen this kind of bluff before. He offers to help, pulls official county plat maps, color-coded, proves my land is outside the HOA, no overlap, no jurisdiction. Not even close. He checks Karen's plat numbers, doesn't exist. He says, you've got a solid case, and you ought to send a formal letter, CC the county attorney. So I do just that. Letters airtight, references, copies, database printouts. No more bluffing. 8 days later, Karen shows up, but this time, she's brought reinforcements, a convoy of cars, lawyer in a bad tie, board members looking nervous. They try to intimidate me, legal threats, more fines, say I'm making false accusations. I hold up the proof, point by point. The lawyer blusters, Karen gets sharper. They say they'll file a lien anyway, let the court sort it out. I tell them to bring it on, 'cause the court will see the same county records. After they leave, I get a call from the title company. HOA tried to file a lien, but can't provide proof of jurisdiction. I update my records, call Nolan. He tells me, stay cool at the hearing, lay out your evidence, let Karen's story fall apart on its own. And that's exactly what I do. The hearing's like a courtroom, full house, board up front, single chair for me. Karen lists every violation. Then I walk them through my folder, deed, maps, county database, plat searches. Nothing connects me to their HOA. Nolan backs me up, explains the legal process. Audience is whispering, questions start flying. Karen's lawyer can't provide documents, just deflects. Karen adjourns the hearing, saying they'll review. But the damage is done, the board lost control, and now the whole room's doubting her. A week later, I get their official letter, suspending all enforcement, pending investigation. Karen's signature is last, looks like she signed it in a hurry. Nolan says it's a retreat. I send the whole packet to the county attorney, request a formal determination. 3 weeks pass, then the county attorney's response arrives, official, detailed, crystal clear. My property is not, and has never been, in the Riverbend Estates HOA. Any attempt to enforce regulations as harassment could trigger legal action by the county. They put it in the public record. My land is off limits to the HOA, end of story. I call Nolan and read him the letter. He tells me Karen resigned, residents are calling for a shakeup, maybe even hiring an outside manager, so this never happens again. He says what matters is that I didn't just pay the fine and let it slide. People like Karen count on you being too tired to fight. You stood your ground. And that's all I ever wanted, to protect what my family built, make sure nobody else goes through this nonsense. That barn Karen wanted repainted, still standing. Fence is still up. Driveway's still gravel. The land's quiet again, wind moving through the grass, sun going down over the same fields my grandfather walked. Sometimes, the hardest thing is just refusing to back down. But if this story reminds you that facts and a little stubbornness can break even the slickest con, let me know in the comments. Ever dealt with someone who thought authority meant more than evidence? Drop your wildest story below. Let's hear how you handled it. And hey, subscribe for more stories where persistence beats power. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that fake authority always collapses when you ask for proof.